Today, yet another court has cleared the way for a survey of the Gyanvapi mosque complex by the Archaeological Survey of India, quashing a petition that challenged Varanasi District Court's order. The Allahabad High Court said that a scientific survey is necessary in the interest of justice and will benefit both sides. The court also said that it will help the trial court to arrive at a just decision. The court said that there is no reason to doubt the Department of Archaeology's assurance that no harm would be inflicted upon the property. It quashed the Mosque Management Committee's argument that Places of Worship Act bars such an exercise from being conducted. Today, the High Court said that the 1991 Places of Worship Act is not the subject matter in the case because none of the parties raised any grievance before the court when making a submission in support of their application. Basically, what is the root of the entire application? The Hindu side has said that they want a scientific survey to be done by the Archaeological Survey of India to determine what was the true nature of the Gyanvapi complex. Was it really a temple that was broken down to make a mosque on top of it? For this, they have gone to court. The Muslim side has opposed the plea. Today, the road for a survey, at least by the High Court, was cleared. Of course, already a petition against this has been filed by the Anjuman Intizamiya. Naturally, the temple side sees it as one step closer to the truth.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल यह बहुत माननीय उच्च न्यायालय का फैसला बहुत ही है जो है बहुत ही हम लोग के हिंदू समाज की जीत है। यह देश के 100 करोड़ हिंदुओं की जीत मानी जाएगी, सभी सनातन धर्मियों की जीत मानी जाएगी और सभी मंदिर समर्थकों की जीत मानी। खास तौर पर उसमें मुस्लिम समाज जब सर्वे टीम में अड़ंगा डालने के लिए यह सुप्रीम कोर्ट में चली गई कि यह सर्वे टीम हमारी शिक्षा को नुकसान पहुंचा सकता है, लेकिन सुप्रीम कोर्ट उच्च न्यायालय को दिए और उच्च न्यायालय का यह फैसला बहुत ही सराहनीय है। उत्साहित है। दूध का दूध पानी का पानी हो जाएगा और जिस तरह मुस्लिम शासकों ने 18 अप्रैल 1669 में तलवारों के मुद्दे हमारे आराध्य को ध्वंस किया था, हम कलम के माध्यम से रेक्टिफाई करने जा रहे हैं।
एसआई सर्वे होगा तो उसमें सच्चाई पूरा पता चल जाएगी, क्योंकि आज भी ज्ञानवापी तीर्थ कुआं वहां पे मौजूद है। आज भी कई सारे निशान हैं, कई सारे ऐसी चीजें हैं जो कि ये प्रस्तुत करने में है कि वो मंदिर ही था।
सही बात है, मंदिर ही है, मस्जिद नहीं है। उसको जबरदस्ती मस्जिद बनाया गया था। शिव जी का मंदिर है, ज्ञानवापी मंदिर ही है। वो
झूठ सब सामने आ जाएगा। हमारा मंदिर पहले से था और आज है। जबरदस्ती लोग इसको मस्जिद बनाए हुए।
The masjid side has now moved the apex court against the order, but the timing of this verdict is such that one cannot ignore its impact on the 2024 elections. Just last week, remember, the Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister had said that there should be a solution proposed by the mosque side, by the Muslim community, to end the conflict once and for all. Also remember that it has already been announced that the Ram temple in Ayodhya at the Ram Janmabhoomi is already under construction after getting a go-ahead from the Supreme Court. Its doors are set to open at the beginning of next year. Now, with the Ram temple already ready to throw its doors open and the Gyanvapi survey set to start tomorrow morning, with the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh himself saying that it's time to set right a historical wrong, one cannot help but look at the political ramification of these developments. Could the road to Lok Kalyan Marg go via Mandir Marg? In fact, the president of the All India Imam Association also drew this link while saying that this was all part of a conspiracy. But let's take this across to our guest joining us now, Charu Pragya, spokesperson of the BJP, R. Rajgopalan, senior journalist, Advocate Nikhil Jain, political analyst, and Ahmad Ayaz, former secretary of the Jammu and Kashmir Muslim Personal Law Board. I want to ask you, Mr. Rajgopalan, because, you know, the BJP, when you talk to them, they always say this is an article of faith for us. It is not about Rajniti. It is about Rashtra Niti and Astha. But do you really think that there is not going to be any political impact? 80 seats of Uttar Pradesh and 300 plus, at least that's what the target is, at the level of the nation, the country level, nationwide.
Padmaja, whatever politician does, it is politics. Whether it is mandir, mosque or anything. Politics is in the blood of all politicians. Therefore, BJP having fulfilled all its promises, 370, triple talaq, Ram Mandir, whatnot. Now their manifesto is exhausted, and I am very sure it is going to have an impact only in Uttar Pradesh, not outside the Uttar Pradesh, not even in Bihar. My understanding is it is going to create a ripples among the temple lovers, and it will definitely yield results for BJP because it is so timed. And Ram Mandir is opening, this Mandir is also opening, and now they will go to Mathura. The third, they will keep the option open, and moreover, the negative propaganda by the SP, Congress, and BSP during 2021 assembly election that we will stop Ram Mandir, that will also help the BJP because negative propaganda always helps BJP. That is what I would like to emphasize. And moreover, whatever the politician does, whichever side, Congress, BJP, CPM, Communist, or Muslim League, any friend, it is politics. Therefore, Mandir is a politics.
Charu Pragya, whatever you might say, the fact is that as far as the key agenda of the RSS and BJP is concerned, 370 is done, Ram Mandir is done. UCC, you have spoken about it, but it seems to be on a bit of a back burner. Is Gyanvapi going to be the next key point? I mean, is it purely a coincidence that Yogi Adityanath speaks about Gyanvapi, says let's have a solution, and remember, this is Kashi that we are talking about. Kashi is not just a constituency, it is the constituency of Narendra Modi.
Padmaja, good evening. And Kashi is definitely Modi ji's constituency. But since much before that, it's of historical and cultural importance to all Indians. It is an ancient city and we revere it as such. Any coincidence or any links that you're drawing to 24 elections, I think are just that. Mere coincidences, because we have never shied away from saying that it is a huge part of our responsibility when we are in public life, when we are Karyakartas of BJP, to do our best to make sure that the Ram Mandir is constructed. It is a very old promise and we have taken very long to deliver on it, but I am so pleased and proud that Modi Sarkar has delivered on that promise. And as for Gyanvapi, today the High Court's order is very clear. There has been scientific evidence of a mandir in the premise, and this scientific evidence is going to be further examined by a committee of the High Court. I think this is very needed. And to please one section of society, we cannot steamroll over another. I think Yogi ji was very balanced when he asked for a solution from the Muslim side. And after this survey is over, after we see the evidence, because let's not get caught up in divisive politics like Congress has tried to do for so long in this country. Today, it's more important that we focus on what the evidence says, we focus on what is good for
but
our
Mr.
culture.
Rajgopalan is saying there is nothing apolitical about anything a politician does.
Yeah,
Many are
I was
questioning if
smiling.
it's entirely a coincidence that the
I was
kapat of
smiling
the
when you
Ram
were saying
Mandir
that.
opens in January 2024.
So I was smiling when Rajgopalan ji was saying that, and maybe he's so much more learned and senior, and I respect all his opinions. But the government is also in the job of making the lives of people better every day. The government is also in the job of restoring India's, Bharat's ancient glory once again. So whether it is simply renovating a temple complex or it is correcting historical wrongs, we are devoted to it, and these issues are of astha to us. It is not mere politics, and I say this categorically.
Okay, I will let Mr. Rajgopalan respond, but let me quickly open this up
sir is
to...
smiling again at me.
No, he will always smile. He is always smiling. He's very cheerful, especially when it's anything to do with the Ram Mandir or with the Prime Minister. But let me...
Can I respectfully, sir, can I get 10 seconds? Rajgopalan,
comment.
Okay, one at a time. Mr. Rajgopalan first, and then just a second. Mr. Rajgopalan, respond. Yes.
My understanding, I take Charu Pragya's views as BJP's views. Of course, BJP fulfilled all its promises. Now one more mandir, and further one more mandir. So they want to keep the issue alive. Whichever politician, I repeat, whether it is Muslim side, IUML, or All India Muslim Law Board, or for that matter BJP, or for Congress, anything connected with mandir is politics by both sides.
In fact, Nikhil Jain, what is interesting...
Padmaja, can I just get 10
Okay,
seconds?
10 seconds only,
Quick.
Charu Pragya. Please,
Yeah.
I really must open this up. Yes.
Yes, thank you very much. You know, I want to say this. When the verdict of the Ram Mandir came out, it was not just BJP Karyakartas that were celebrating it. All non-political people were celebrating it. In fact, political people from across the fence were celebrating it. So let's not put Ram Mandir in a political box and say that's all that it is. People all over the world were celebrating it. This is not political.
That's true, but is it again a coincidence, let me ask you, that when Yogi Adityanath went to campaign in the Karnataka election, you know what he said? He said कि मैं वहां राम मंदिर तैयार कर रहा हूं अयोध्या में, आप लोग आइएगा. This was said in a election rally in Karnataka. Charu Pragya.
Padmaja,
And you are saying there is
मेरे घर में
nothing
भी-
political.
मेरे घर में भी आज पोहा बना है, आप जरूर खाने आइएगा.
सर पोहा बनाने और मंदिर बनाने में बहुत फर्क है.
No,
और इलेक्शन
it
रैली
is
में आप
inviting
किसी को
people to
पोहा
his
नहीं
home.
ऑफर करेंगी चारू प्रज्ञा. आई एम क्वाइट सर्टेन. आपने बहुत कैंपेन किया है यूपी इलेक्शन में. आई एम प्रीटी सर्टेन यू डिडंट टेल एनीवन मेरे घर में पोहा खाने आना. Anyhow, Nikhil Jain, let me quote to you what the Prime Minister said yesterday when he was speaking to members of Parliament from South India and more specifically from Eastern Uttar Pradesh, including the Kashi area. He said, हम गरीबों के लिए काम कर रहे हैं. हमने अपनी विचारधारा के मुद्दे पे राम मंदिर बनाया है और 370 हटाया है. लेकिन ये मुद्दे वोट के नहीं हैं. वोट हमें गरीबों के लिए काम करने से मिलेगा. This is what the Prime Minister told his members of Parliament who come from the temple town. This for us is an article of faith. This for us is not about vote.
Padmaja, as long as all of it is public, it is all just clever politicking by the Prime Minister. The person and the party which is putting the building of the Ram Mandir in its political manifesto before the elections, the person who's going around and across the country campaigning that hum Ram Mandir banayenge and then hum Ram Mandir bana rahe hain. They can't say that this is not a political issue. This may or may not be an issue of faith for them. It may or may not be an issue of faith for a lot of people outside the BJP. But so far as the BJP, Prime Minister Modi and Chief Minister Yogi are concerned, this is very clearly a political issue. And my problem, let's talk on the Gyanvapi issue. My problem with the Gyanvapi thing is that India is, I said this before on a debate, that India is a country with a complex history. There must be hundreds of places of worship which are today of one religion and earlier would have been of another religion. 2000 years ago, the most prevalent religion
Please
in India
don't
was not
generalize,
Hinduism,
Kashi.
it was Buddhism. So definitely there have been Buddhist places of worship that have now been converted into Hindu.
Sir,
mandirs.
okay, listen,
Similarly,
this has
when the
been
Islamic
settled today. The issue of places of worship, etc., have been settled by the High Court, and whether it was a Buddhist place of worship will be settled by the Archaeological Survey. None of us here are historical experts.
I am not trying to question whether that structure is a masjid or a mandir. My point is simply that there would be hundreds of structures in the country. Are we to now raise down every mandir, every mosque, every place of worship and look what was there 2000 years ago, 500 years ago? Or should we be focused on giving a better life to the people of India?
The two
Look
can
at what is
coexist, sir. I'm sure you pray in the morning, but then you also go to court to practice as a lawyer. It's not like you say कि आज मैंने पूजा की है तो मैं कोर्ट नहीं जाऊंगा.
Personally, I don't pray in the morning, and again,
Okay, there are many people who do.
That is a personal.
There are many people who do. Mr. Rajgopalan may pray in the morning and then he goes on his job as a journalist.
Absolutely.
The two are not mutually exclusive. I can have a temple in my house. I can have a fully stocked fridge in my house. I can have both.
That is a matter of personal faith. If an individual
Exactly.
prays in the morning and then goes to court,
Exactly.
that is
So it's a matter of personal faith when
It is not
somebody
government
goes
business.
to
It's a
court and
secular
says,
country.
my personal faith demands that I want to have the right to worship at Gyanvapi.
But
It's their personal
And-
faith.
and then what do? Do we raise down every mosque? Do we flare up?
Nobody is raising a mosque, by the way.
Maybe
Okay,
you
okay.
not
Very
read
quickly,
enough.
Charu Pragya respond. Very quickly respond. I want to bring in Mr.
Yeah.
Ayaz. Yes.
So, most respectfully, I don't think you have read enough. From the very beginning, Bharatiya Janata Party has categorically spoken of only 3 locations: Kashi, Mathura, and of course, Ayodhya. That is it. We are not talking of every single temple, mosque, or church in every corner of this country. We understand there are millions of them. Kashi is of utmost importance to the Hindu faith, utmost importance, and you cannot generalize it. Also, let me remind you, it is very recently that prayers have stopped being offered at Gyanvapi. You know that the nature of worship of that temple was altered fairly recently, and that's exactly why the High Court has even taken cognizance. There has been evidence, scientific evidence as that, to show that this was a very recent conversion. The temple exists since before even Islam was born. So I will appreciate it if you do not generalize, and maybe you should read up a little bit more about till when prayers were offered at Gyanvapi, why was it stopped, and then it only became a full-time masjid.
You know,
even
by
though
the way,
it was a masjid, prayers continued to be offered there.
By the way, when we talk about how people's personal faith is very different from the politics on this issue, let me point out that the Bharatiya Janata Party, like Charu Pragya said, has the stated position that they are just asking for Kashi, Mathura and Ayodhya. Whereas the petitioners in this case, like Vishnu Jain and Harishankar Jain, has said categorically there is no such caveat. They will fight for every temple across the country. Politics is one, right? And the petitioners and their personal faith is completely different. The BJP has no monopoly over people of the Hindu faith and vice versa. All people of the Hindu faith do not vote for the BJP. The two are completely different. Anyway, Ahmad Ayaz, let me bring you.
Only 1 second.
Okay, 1 second, Mr. Rajgopalan. Yes.
I want to ask Mr. Jain, in 2018, why did Kapil Sibal go to Supreme Court that Ram Mandir judgment should be put off to 2019? Is it not politics?
Answer, Nikhil Jain.
Very clearly,
in fact, he specifically mentioned the elections. He specifically mentioned elections, and he said after the elections the hearing should happen. Nikhil Jain.
Precisely the point. The Ram Mandir, more than an issue of faith for the BJP, is a political issue. That is precisely why the Congress and Kapil Sibal were approaching the court that let the decision on this be post 2019. Everybody understands that this is a political issue for the BJP.
Do you understand? You just contradicted yourself.
The faith of the people in the country
just contradicted
for their own political advantages. And
you just contradicted yourself.
What the BJP is doing right now. They've created a movie of so many elements like the Hindu parishioners and the Bajrang Dal and the larger Sangh Parivar who are going around.
Jain, you're contradicting yourself. I would suggest to you, please do not speak anymore. You're landing your
so Nikhil Jain, let me ask you very respectfully. Let me ask you very respectfully. Let me ask you very respectfully. What is the Congress's position? Is the Ram Mandir construction in Ayodhya right or not?
Why does it matter now?
It does matter. It does matter.
Why?
Is it right or not?
Why?
Is it right or not?
No, but
is it right or not?
No, why does it matter?
It matters.
Do you like your college?
Because you have a moral, ideological position about everything, right? It's like saying, oh, Afzal Guru has been hung. Does it matter whether I have an opinion on it? Of course it matters. There are people, so-called human rights activists, who even to this day say that that was extrajudicial killing, that Afzal Guru's hanging was wrong. So people still have an opinion. In fact, Mr. Asaduddin Owaisi, for one, has a very strong opinion about the Ayodhya judgment even now. He says it is wrong. I do not agree with Supreme Court. What is the Congress's position? What is the Congress's position?
Individuals can have their own opinions.
Not individuals, as a party.
Political party.
The AIMIM as a party has an opinion.
For a political party to take a position on things that are not relevant anymore.
He doesn't have a party opinion. He doesn't have any.
I will tell you, when we talk about Mandir politics, here's the thing. Till the time that the temple was not made, some political parties decided to sit on the fence so that they could appease everyone. Now that it has been made, you know who was the first person to welcome the Ram Janmabhoomi verdict? Kamal Nath. Then Mr. Digvijay Singh came out and said, "अरे मंदिर तो आज बन रहा है, उसके ताले किसने खुलवाए थे? कांग्रेस ने." You had Digvijay Singh saying मंदिर के ताले कांग्रेस ने खुलवाए थे, and now you're talking about politics. People who rushed to take credit for Ram Janmabhoomi are talking about politics over the temple.
Ahmad Ayaz. Congress was never putting the Ram Mandir in its manifesto.
But they don't put it in manifesto. That is what they say, right? Playing both sides, running with the hare, hunting with the hound. It doesn't work like that. Anyhow, Ahmad Ayaz, do you see it affecting the outcome of the elections, and how?
It's of course connected. You see, question is why has this issue come up today when the elections are around the corner, and that too when the issue stands settled by virtue of the Religious Places Act. One. Second, BJP being the national party does not represent only a particular community. Why do the BJP come in the issues of why do they side with particular community? One. Second. Third. then the statement of the Yogi Adityanath, CM, the head of the state, he is for everybody. He is not only for Hindus.
Yeah.
Why should he talk about as CM for a particular community?
When did he talk for a particular community?
Yes, he is a CM for all.
When did he talk about particular community?
When he said that Muslims should favor we should come out with a solution to the Gyanvapi. Why does these heads of the states come in? If at all it was an issue for the Hindus,
Okay.
it could have been taken by the communities.
With great respect, actually, because he was talking about a solution which would help the overall situation in the country, and law and order, as you would imagine, is something that the Chief Minister would be concerned about. I have to wrap up at this stage because we've got breaking news coming in. Thank you, gentlemen. Charu Pragya. In fact, the Muslim side has filed a petition in the Supreme Court against what the High Court has said. Let me tell you what the plea says. It says there's a grave risk posed to such an exercise may have consequences. Let's quickly cut across to Harish for more on this. Interesting, Harish, that the petition is saying this will have consequences across the country. What kind of consequences?
Yes, that's right, Padmaja. This petition says that ever since the court commissioner's survey happened, there has been tension across the country as far as the Gyanvapi dispute is concerned, and so once again it will aggravate if the ASI survey is allowed. That is one reason. That is one of the prime reasons cited by the Anjuman Intizamiya Masjid in the appeal filed against today morning's order by the Allahabad High Court endorsing the Varanasi Court's order. Number two, it says in another plea filed by another petitioner, the High Court had already stayed the ASI survey and why it was allowed in this case. Number three, it says the order is in violation of the Places of Worship Act, as till now what was sought is just worshipping rights. Now they have widened the ambit of the dispute, saying that now there is an attempt being made to change the character of the entire structure. That is in violation of the Places of Worship Act, and this should not be allowed. And the fourth main point is that at a time when the maintainability suit is pending in the Supreme Court, all parties should wait for the outcome of the pending appeal in the Supreme Court as far as the maintainability is concerned, and only after that ASI survey should be allowed. So these are the 4-5 important points mentioned in the petition appeal filed by the Anjuman Intizamiya Masjid. Back to you, Padmaja.
Thank you very much for that all that information, Harish. Very important that specifically the plea warns of grave consequences of such an exercise. We wonder what that refers to. Thanks very much, Harish, for joining me. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next at 8 on India Upfront, where we are going to talk about the new files, more FIRs that are going to speak today that talk about how people were surrounded and shot at. Who are these people? I'll see you at 8.